All right, my people. Good to have you here. It's good to be here. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, let me know from the comments. If everything is good, everything is clear, let me know from the comments. Welcome to tonight's live session. It's good to have every one of you here. I'm super excited to be here, and I hope you are too. And tonight is going to be an amazing time. We're going to be having an amazing time together. So one of the first things you want to do is to go to the comments and let me know where you're connecting from. Let us know where you're connecting from. We're streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also on TikTok. So TikTok family, how you guys doing? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're streaming from, go to the comments. Tell us where you are joining this live from. Where are you connecting from? Where are you connecting from? Fantastic. Thank you, Tawakal. Say I can hear you. Where are you connecting from? Where are you connecting from? Feel free to drop it in the comments. Where are you joining this live session from? Where are you joining this live session from? So it's good to have every one of you here. Welcome to the Tailor webinar series, right, where we will be sharing everything about building a fashion brand from scratch to greatness, right? Justy from Ibadan, Miriam from Port Harcourt, Miracle from Lagos, Hoprajiv Usman from Kaduna, Akani from Ilorin, Adebumi from Exu, Big Box Clothing from Lagos. Yeah, welcome from Ibadan, Abuja. All of you joining, as you join the session, share the live. Let's get more people on the call tonight. So join, share the live. Let's get more people on the call. Welcome to the Tailor webinar series. We'll be starting shortly. Bumosho, I have Derek B, Minister Evan Great from Abia, Bulus from Yola. We have Caroline from Kenya. Good to have every one of you here. I'm not calling some, so don't worry. Don't worry. We have from some Shulamites from Calabar, Julius from Osun State. Good. Kindly share the session wherever you're joining from, whether on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or on TikTok. Share the live. Share the live. Let's get more people on the call tonight. It's going to be an amazing time that we're going to spend together. We're going to be learning everything about building a fashion brand from scratch to greatness. And our guest tonight is super ready, super ready to share his inspiring story. Yeah, Fun Cakes Fashion World from Lagos. It's Blessing from Lagos. Mustafa Bello from Sokoto. Sanunde Zua. Let me speak Hausa. Let me see if I can, how many languages I can speak. We have GB from PH. Show GB. We have Munirat from Oyo State. Ekurole. Let me greet you. Let me see how many languages I can get. So good to have every one of you here. Good to have every one of you here on the call. So welcome to the Tailor webinar series. All through the month of August, we're going to be having this live session where we'll be talking about everything branding, marketing, building a seven-figure fashion brand in Nigeria. Okay, what you need to scale your fashion business in Nigeria. And even if you're not a fashion designer, trust me, you're going to find these sessions very valuable, because what's the secrets and the strategies you need to succeed in business A are most likely the strategies you need to succeed in business B. Okay, so we have Augustina from Abuja, Jack Andrews from Port Harcourt. So starting from today, which is the maiden edition, then we're gonna do on the 15th, August the 15th, we're still gonna have another session. Then August the 22nd and August the 30th, all through as we get closer to the launch of our revolutionary app, the biggest virtual assistant, Tailor's virtual assistant, Tailor's companion in Africa, as we gear up to its launch, our big launch which is coming very, very soon. I trust you, it's sooner than you expect. I know a lot of you cannot wait. Okay, so as we gear up, we are going to be. Will somebody say TikTok is not sounding well? Check your mic, okay? Let me be sure. Please confirm that our TikTok people are hearing us very well. So as we get up towards the big launch, we're going to be having these sessions, and our goal is simple: to help as many tailors in Nigeria scale their business, build a profitable fashion brand, build a profitable fashion business. You see, there is a huge difference between knowing how to sew, knowing how to make clothes, right? And the business of tailoring. There's a huge difference, a huge gap between tailoring and the business of tailoring. So what we want to equip you throughout these sessions is to share with you the business of tailoring. You can try this. We want to share with you the business of tailoring, all there is, from marketing to branding, right? Promotion to scaling your business, right? Choosing your niche in the industry, all you need to know in this industry. We're going to be bringing experts from people who have done it, people who have scaled their businesses, branding experts to top professionals in this industry, right? So if you are set for me, just go to the comment and type, I am ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Go to the comment, type, I'm ready. I'm ready. We have Mayowa from Lagos. Go to the comments, just type, I am ready. Go to the comment, type, I am ready. So for those of you just meeting me for the first time, my name is Andrew Ube, and I've been around for some time, and in my small time here on earth, I have done a lot of things, right? Done a lot of things, and I've been in the fashion industry for close to 2 decades now. Most recently, we started building SoPro, which is the biggest tailor's virtual assistant, the biggest virtual assistant built for tailors by tailors. This is not built by techies. This is built by your bro, people who understand the game, and we've been in the game for some time to be able to do this. We're building the biggest virtual assistant in the whole of Africa. Yeah, I can see all the I'm ready. Thank you guys. You guys are super ready. And I think our guest is also super ready. So we're going to bring up our guest right away. He's backstage and pumped up for tonight's session. Our guest, coincidentally, should I say coincidentally now? We share the same first name. And I think it's just coincidence. And there's just something about the name also. Coincidentally, we share the same first name, and also we come from the same state, right? Coincidentally, somebody can guess in the comments. Coincidentally, we come from the same state. He's the visionary founder of Vuba. Vuba is a contemporary African male fashion brand, right? It's a contemporary African male fashion brand, and he's been around for some time, right? Doing this, he's built his business from scratch to greatness. Right, in this session, I'm going to be sharing. I know probably some of you must have seen the before and the now, right? I'm going to be sharing some of the photos of how he started and where they are right now, and everything you need to know, from tips to strategies, from inside secrets to scale your brand, to scale your tailoring business from where it is now to the next level. Remember, I said there's a huge difference between tailoring and the tailoring business. A lot of people know how to sew, but they don't understand the fashion business. So what we're going to be sharing today is the fashion business, the business in the fashion. So if you're ready for our guest, which I believe you are already, ladies and gentlemen, if we're in a physical hall right now, I'll ask you to put those hands, and let's make welcome. So give some energy for our guest tonight in the person. Okay, our guest is backstage. We'll bring him up shortly. I think he just had a glitch, right? We'll bring him up shortly. But so what am I saying? There's a huge difference between the tailoring business and tailoring itself. Tailoring is the skill. The business involves everything there is about building and scaling a business, a real work business, which involves branding, marketing, content creation, positioning, niche selection, all these things, customer service. all these things and the role they play, right, to building a scalable brand. So our guest is ready. Andrew Kohol, if you're ready for us, we are ready for you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me bring up Andrew Kohol. Super excited to have you here. Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Mr.
How are you doing? I am
Andrew. How
doing
are you
great.
doing?
Great. Okay,
I'm
I
super
think we are
excited
getting
to be with you guys this evening. I can't wait to share all the information I've learned in the fashion business with you guys. I want everybody watching
okay.
this to
Can the person who can that TikTok volume, right? The volume be brought down completely so that it doesn't echo. Just let them bring the device, right?
can
So
you
it
guys
won't
hear
echo.
me?
Loud and clear. This is perfect now.
Can you hear me, Mr. Andrew?
Yeah, it's loud and clear. It's good. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You're good. I can hear you loud and clear. You're good.
Can you hear me, Mr. Andrew?
Loud and clear. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I think he's struggling to hear me right now. So, but if you can hear him, you can hear me, just go to the comments, say I can hear, I can hear. Let me know.
So he
I
can
think
hear you, but you
he's kind
can't
of
hear
like
him.
having challenges hearing
So
me,
I think
but
that's
I
what
can hear him
it is.
clearly.
Okay.
So, but if you can hear us, go to the comments and type I can hear. Let's fix this.
Can you hear
But
me,
I can
Mr.
hear you
Andrew?
loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I'm super excited to be with you on this webinar. Tonight, I'll be sharing with you my knowledge that I've acquired in the fashion business for the past 7 years. These are secrets that I've experienced selling clothes in Nigeria and outside the country. To our audience, we appreciate you for being with us this evening, and I want you to pay attention as we give you valuable information tonight. Pick up your phones. If you can't write, you type all the necessary secrets we're giving to you on your notes, or you can write them down.
Awesome, awesome. Good to have you here, Andrew. So I'd like us to begin the conversation with there are quite a number of people here who may not have interacted with your work and may not know who Andrew is. So can we get to know briefly who Andrew is? And I think the TikTok volume is still up, so that's why we're getting that echo. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good now. It's good. We're good. We're good. So there are quite a number of people who are on this call who probably might not have met Andrew before. So let us meet who is the face behind this is the face behind Vuba. So who is Andrew? Who or what has Andrew been up to all these years? Right. So let's just get to meet you. Anything you think we need to know about Andrew and your tailoring journey so far.
Okay, we need to rejoin.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
You just tell him.
We
Okay,
need
Andrew,
to
can you hear me?
rejoin you here.
Okay. Okay, you are going to rejoin here, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because right now I can hear you loud and clear. If you can hear me, I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, I guess Andrew will join us shortly. So let's just give him some time to fix up everything with his technical team. So, as I was saying, we're going to be discussing everything around branding, marketing, building a successful fashion brand. There's a huge difference between between learning the tailoring skill and the business of fashion. You see, most tailoring schools that you go to, or any skill-based school that you go to, teach you the craft, they teach you the technical skill, but they don't teach you the skill of building a business. So you have the skill, but you're unable to build a successful business, right? You are good at what you do, but you don't know how a business should work, the day-to-day running of a business. So you keep running around a circle. So you struggle with raising funding, you struggle with marketing, promotion, you struggle with branding and all that. See, the reason you struggle with all these things, raising funding for your business and all that, is because you do not understand the business around that industry. Every industry has a business around it, how it operates, right? Has insider tips, the strategies to use to scale your brand, right? So you may be good at your craft, but if you don't understand how a business is built, how a business is grown, you will not succeed. So you can be the best there is in your niche in this industry. In fact, there's no such thing as, in quotes, the best in anything, because we only know the best is only based on what is shown, what is known to the general public. So, but you may be very good at your craft and not be good at the business of selling your craft. And from the engagement in our community, we've come to discover that a lot of tailors, a lot of fashion designers struggle with branding and marketing, right? From all the polls we've taken in our community. So that is why we want to focus our sessions on branding, marketing, promotion, and how to build a successful fashion brand. Okay, I think Andrew Kohol is back. So let me just bring him up as he gets to. So Andrew, you're back. I believe you
Yes,
can
I'm
hear me
back.
loud and clear. Fantastic. So the floor is yours. So let's get to meet Andrew.
Andrew was born and raised in Benue. I read linguistics at Benue State University, graduated in 2016, and from there I came to Plateau State to serve my country. It was during my service year that I understood that I needed to do something for myself. I needed to prepare for life after service. One fateful Saturday, a friend of mine called me to help him, follow him to the tailor store to adjust his trousers. I went to the store and I got inspired by the craft, and I spoke to my boss. I asked him if I can join him to become his own apprentice and serve him very well so that at the end of the day I will become a tailor. He gave me the opportunity, and that's why we're here today.
That's awesome. So I'm wondering, what is someone who studied linguistics doing in the fashion business? And you've done amazingly well for yourself in this industry. So I'd like to know, you said you started Vuba in 2018. Now, Vuba started out as, I know you're going to share all that. It didn't start out as Vuba. So what I want to hear is, now in the early days of your business, right? What was the mindset? What was your mindset like at that time? Because beyond learning the craft, when people are good at the craft but their mindset is messed up, they can't build a successful business. So anytime I meet someone who is successful, I know that there is a mindset that is at work behind the scene. So what was your mindset like? Did you just get in? Because some people get into the business for just survival mode. Was that your case? Right? Why didn't you go looking for a job? Why did you decide? What was your mindset like? And did you always wanted to build a big business like this, or you just wanted something for survival?
During my early stages, I understood the metaphysics of becoming successful in fashion. So I understood two things: moving from zero to one. Zero is the energy of invention, and one is the energy of innovation. So that's from one to infinity. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. It was the process that I needed to prepare myself. That was my learning process. And at that time, I had a mindset of submitting to my boss and undergoing my apprenticeship. So I did everything I was told to do. For me to become a master, I needed to serve before becoming a master. So I did my training for 8 months before I started my brand, sometime October 23rd. That was my birthday. Now, When I got into the fashion world, I understood that I needed to understand the dimension of the fashion space. So I started earlier as Drew Clothing. Drew Clothing was a brand name for me to experiment, for me to learn how to build a fashion brand. The things I did earlier on was I had a mindset of learning. So I was a ferocious reader. I'm still reading up to date. I read every book on business that I could find my hand on. I read fashion magazines. I attended business conferences to learn what I needed to know to take me to the next level. And I knew very well that I was never going to build a big business alone. I needed to build with people. So I had a community focused mindset. And that's where the aspect of public relation comes in your business. And in public relation, there is a key part of public relation that talks about building a stakeholder ecosystem. What that means is you try to know the people that will help promote your business to the next level. Sometimes these people don't need to be in your business. It may be people in other industry, but they have a connection with your business. So you learn how to create a relationship with them. You know how to sell your vision to them. You know how to take care of their interest. So one of the strategies I did then was to understand the people in my stakeholders ecosystem. And the stakeholders ecosystem consists of your landlord. If you don't have a personal store, your landlord is a stakeholder in your business. So you must build a relationship with your landlord, and you must build a relationship with your suppliers. You must understand supply chain and the value chain you are trying to build. So basically, I had a beginner's mindset, a mindset that I was willing to take constructive feedback from my customers, from my friends, and then from there, I built to where we are today.
You've actually mentioned a lot of things, right? I was just nodding my head while I was listening to you speak. You talked about learning and an attitude, a posture of always learning. And it is one of the things with people who have skill. One of the problems with people who have skill. You see, in this industry, most people who have skill thinks that building a business is just about the skill. So they don't pay attention. Like you said something, you said you read business books. So if you're on this live and you want to build a fashion brand, the question is, what business books are you reading? So I'm just bringing out points from what you shared. What business books have you read this year to know how a business is run or how successful businesses have been built? So you talk about learning, being a ferocious learner that you still learn till date. In fact, looking at where you are seated right now, I think it confirms this. We have, I would say, I want to define your environment now as your skill set beside you and your mindset also beside you. So you have skill set and mindset together. I know some people who are discerning already picked what I said by looking at and the Kohol screen. And that is remarkable because many people who have skills do not pay attention to learning. So they go to just learn this act of making clothes and never learn what the art of building a successful business. You talk about learning, you talk about community. Community, you see, it is community that creates wealth. If you don't learn how to build a community around what you're building, you can't succeed. You can't succeed. Many of you are just alone by yourself. Alone by yourself. This is the era of collaboration. You need to find, you talk about communities, partnering with stakeholders in your industry, not necessarily stakeholders, not necessarily people you are in the same industry with, but there are stakeholders in that industry, people that can help you scale your business. So who are the stakeholders in that industry, in this industry around you that you can partner with? You mentioned your landlord, right? And it could be somebody selling fashion accessories, fabrics, people selling fabrics. So some of you need capital to start your business. Can you partner with somebody who sells fabric and get fabric up from get fabric and pay later? Right? These are collaborations that can help. And from all you said, I just discovered that these things are key to scaling a fashion business. So quickly, I want to ask you, what do you think is the number one mistake that tailors make when building a fashion brand? The number one mistake you think tailors make generally?
I think the answer to that question is obvious because when you turn around, you observe that a lot of tailors focus on the craft and production more than telling their brand story and having a target audience. That's one of the biggest problems of tailors.
Hmm. So you mean like telling, apart from learning how to sew,
Yes,
what concerns a tailor with telling a story? That's what somebody might be asking. What concerns a tailor with telling your story? Actually, so this actually talks about, from what you just shared now, it talks about, it clearly differentiates between the craft and the business.
yes,
That you can be very good at the craft, but be a bad business person, be bad at
yes,
storytelling
yes,
in your business. So I think
yes,
that is very important. The number one mistake tailors make is not learning how to build a fashion business, not learning how a business works. There's how a business runs. If you own a fashion brand, have you learned marketing? Are you reading books on marketing? Are you reading books on sales? Right? Are you reading books on business structure? These are the things Anuko is sharing with us tonight. Are you reading books on, because most tailors, once they just know how to sew, they don't pay attention to any of these things. So you just believe my craft will sell me. And I want you to address this right now, right? You know,
yes, sure.
people say things like, I know I'm good at what I do, right? My craft will sell me. So what do you think about that? Like, share your thoughts with us.
Now,
Let's know. What do you think about?
yeah, yeah. Now let me elaborate on my point of tailors focusing on production more than telling stories and targeting. Now, we are human beings, and human beings are emotional beings.
Hmm,
We, for you to connect with human beings, you have to tell a story. You remember when we were kids, we love stories.
hmm,
And when you look at the aspect of neuroscience, till date, if you want to hold attention of anybody, even in a book or conversation, you need to tell stories. What
hmm,
I'm trying to say here is the real money of the business is in your story. And you have to be shameless in telling your story. And the easiest way to have longevity or consistency in telling your story is you have to tell true stories. You can't lie. You have to own your journey. Now, telling stories here has to do with crafting a narrative. You know, people buy narrative and not necessarily the product. So, what I'm trying to say here is where you started, you should start documenting your journey from the day you got to the store to learn your experiences with your customers, everything. You have to document from your images, from videos or letters and all of that. And what that does is your story is being shared when you're not there. Now, for instance, before you brought me on, you told the story of how I started doing my NYC and all of that. Now, when somebody hears that story, he's looking at me as an industrious person and not just a killer. Somebody who is trying to make the economy of the country better than it is. I'm adding my own quota to the economy of the country. So what I'm telling the tailors here is you need to tell your story. Where did you start? What prompted the decision of going into the fashion industry? For me, basically, I got into the fashion industry because I come from a family that were highly creative. My late dad did a lot of creative jobs while he was alive, from carpentry, journalism, and photography. So that's what inspired where I am today. And I tell all these stories. So you have to tell your story and own your story. You have to tell true stories. And then through your stories, you will be able to connect with your own target audience. Now, you can't just sell to everybody. You have to select a demographic that you want to sell to. How much do they earn per month? Like in our company, for you to buy Vuba, at least in a year, you should be having an annual revenue of 5 million for you to be able to buy our product without any pay.
That's impressive. Before I come to my next question, right? I want to just dwell a bit on this aspect of storytelling. In fact, we have somebody asking, how can I tell my story? You see, you mentioned something that humans connect with stories more. And you see, while growing up, many of the adverts we cannot forget are the ones that told us a story. The ones that
Mm.
told us a story. And brands tell story, brands that sells tell story a lot. And you're able to break down the art of storytelling, being genuine. And the good thing is that nobody shares your story. Nobody else shares your story. Your story is unique to you. So it means with your story, you can carve out a niche for yourself where you don't even have competition in quotes, right?
Mm.
Because your story is unique to you. You mentioned documenting your process. So what I want to ask is this. You see, there's this popular concept. People say things like build in silence, what people don't know, they cannot destroy. So are you trying to say if you say I should be documenting my story, right? Are you saying because we have people in the fashion business who don't have a Facebook page, they don't have an online presence at all. If you Google them, you don't find anything, right? And for those who have, the small percentage who have, you go, you still find their page very scanty. You can't connect with their story. Like I could easily, before getting to even hear from you, I could easily tell the Vuba story because your content entirely shares your journey and your story, and I could easily connect with your story. So then I decide that if you're someone I want to do business with or not. So when people say build in silence, do you actually buy this philosophy? Does this help business people? What can you say to a tailor here who is shy? They don't know where to start from. What can you say to them? Where should they start from? And what do you think about building in silence? Because some people say, no, I'm in a small shop now. I want to be great. But obviously, you started telling your story from Drew Clothing. In fact, I'm going to bring up that image right now. Let me see if I can bring up that image of where you started. Yeah, so this is Drew Clothing, where it started from. So let me take this out now. So you started sharing your story from this very point, right? So what would you say to a fashion designer who is watching this right now? Probably they don't have all the gadgets. How do they go about sharing their story? Should they continue building in silence or should they start sharing from where they are?
They have to do both. They have to build in silence and share also where they are. Now, what I mean by that is you don't tell people what you want to do tomorrow. You do it before you show them. Now, earlier on, when I started years ago, I was very confident about where I was going to. And everybody I met there, I shared the vision with them and I told them, look, this is where I am currently, this is where I'm going. And if you want to be part of this journey, you have to join the bandwagon. And what I did was I tried to prove myself to every customer that I did business with, to my online audience. And proving yourself means that you have to show the work. Now, if we spoke earlier on and I told you that I was going to be here by 8 a.m. and I didn't show up. I didn't give you proof. Why did we get people to come on this webinar? Because we told them that we are doing something great. Because we promoted to them that a person started from a small shop and scaled to a seven-figure business. We showed them. But then there is another back end that we conceived to ourselves. Did we come out to tell them that, okay, this is how we are going to sell our environment? These are the things we are going to discuss? No. Did we? No, we didn't. So you have to do both. You have to show some elements and keep some elements. That's how you win.
Fantastic. I think this already answers this particular question from Nisi says, about storytelling, what if you are not where you see yourself yet? Start sharing from where you are. Don't wait for the big vision. You see, if you don't appreciate the small, in fact, you see, people connect emotionally with stories, and sometimes small beginnings, right, can gather a lot of emotions with people. People knowing that you take pride in what you are building right now, but not losing sight of where you are going to. Thank you so much. That was super, super amazing. And if you've been getting value on this call, just go to the comment section, drop a fire emoji. Let me see how many people that have been getting value so far. You've been getting value for your time. Go to the comment section, drop a fire emoji. Drop a fire emoji. Now, my next question would be, you see, many tailors struggle with marketing and branding, right? And niche selection. Marketing, branding, niche selection. You see, a fashion designer says, me, I saw everything. I recently saw a video of a top big boss in the industry, in the person of Woody, right? He took one of his clients to Maya Tafo's store to get suits, right? To get suits. And you see, a lot of people were happy about that move because it wouldn't take Woody anything to go into suit making. But he's chosen a niche and he's working with that, and he could easily just send a client to someone else. So when it comes to niche selection, how did you go about it? How did you, because I know the kind of things you do in Vuba, right? When did you decide? When do you think is the right time for a fashion designer to select, to choose their niche, and what are the elements to consider before selecting a niche in this industry? Or do you think that you can just be jack of all trade because there are so many niche in this industry? Yeah.
Okay, basically, you spoke about the branding and the marketing aspect, and then later you spoke about the niche. So, if I'll get to talk about these things, the most important thing a fashion designer or a tailor can do for their business is getting their brand name right.
Hmm.
Just the brand name. How to come up with the brand name is also an art. If you pay attention, you are going to notice that most of the successful brands in the world, they have a pattern. So I want everybody watching this today to go back and study the pattern recognition of naming a brand.
So, so are you saying if my name is Ugochukwu Ugochukwu Emeka, I shouldn't name my brand Ugochukwu Emeka Stitches?
You can go ahead and name it that way, but if you want to scale fast, win more customers, go international, you have to follow an art and science of doing that.
Guys, are you listening to that? Are you listening to that? So some of you, after this session, you will need to go and change your brand name, because your brand name,
Remember,
people can't even pronounce it. Go ahead.
remember, I started as Drew Clothing. Why did I
Mm.
change?
Yes, I was coming to that. Why did you change
Oh,
from Drew Clothing? Right, let me show that
oh,
image again. Let me see if I can bring up that image again. Right, quickly. You see, this was Drew Clothing by the left, and this is Vuba now by the right. So why did you change? Let's get into that quickly.
now, Drew Clothing was an experimental project.
Mm.
So I just use Drew Clothing to experiment and study the secrets of business and the fashion business in general and the fashion business in particular.
Mm.
Now, when I talk about business in general, I studied about naming my business. Now, let's just imagine or just reflect on a lot of successful business we have in the world. How do they sound? They sound very charming and appealing to the ear, to the mind. They are short and memorable. If they are not short, there is a connection. I don't want to promote any brand here, but when you start calling them, you're going to see how sweet they sound, how easily you can pronounce them. Now, when I say Vuba, this is very short, very catchy, it's memorable.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then it also sparks curiosity when there is an element of mystery in it, because I'm not telling you that this is about clothing. So from there you begin to ask me, what do you do? It prompts questions. It brings
That's
up questions, because when
mm.
somebody hears Vuba, it'll be like, what does Vuba mean? What do you do? But by the time you name your brand Ugochukwu Clothing, you have already showed all your cards.
Tolani Kuto.
Good.
So like if there's
You
a
have
Tolani in this place, forgive me.
you've showed all your cards. So what I'm
Mm.
trying to say is, bringing up your brand name is an art, and that's where storytelling also, there's a story behind that. Now, what does Vuba mean? Vuba means confidence. Now, we are not just selling clothes, we are selling confidence to men. Every man I know is looking out for confidence. Every man wants to be confident. That's how men make money. That's how they win women. That's how they sell proposals.
Mm.
Now, also, Vuba is not a Nigerian name. It's a South African word which means confidence. Now, I've been able to connect with the people from that location. Last year, our brand sold 30 pieces of Vuba premium kaftans to South Africa because they connected with it. A lady in Jos who sells coffee saw our product, and then he asked me for 3 samples, which he went to South Africa for business and then sold it. They loved it, and then that's how we ended up supplying 30 pieces to boutique in South Africa. So your business name alone position you in the market. Now that's all about branding. When we talk about marketing, winning as in your marketing strategy is about your position in the market. And positioning is just about what people have of your brand in their mind. What are the images that you're sending to them? Do you send clear images? Um, what's the feel of your brand? What emotions are you selling out there? What's your lifestyle? Last year, I spent about 300,000 naira customizing Vuba chains from China. I hope you saw that image of my neck and the chains. Now, when people think about Vuba, they don't even need to see a face, but with that alone, I have sent a particular image in the position of their mind. Now, let's talk about the niche. When people talk about niching down, they feel, oh, niching down is like, okay, I'm just making shirts or two-piece for men. Niching down has to even go down to money. How much will the customers pay for that product?
Guys, are you listening to this? My goodness, this is a full masterclass. See, sorry to cut you. See, you've said so much in just this short time, right? That if I would forget everything you said. This is just so much value, guys. So much, so much. You talked about somebody asked a question. He said, "Can I put couture, put clothing, all these things behind my name and all that?" We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, right? But please just go on this point you are making right now. Please, about niching down to your the quality of your clients, not just even in what you want to make. Please go ahead.
Good, good. Niching down has to do with the quality of your client. The psychographics. In marketing, we call it the psychographics. How do they think?
Hmm.
What's their worldview?
Hmm. This is going beyond
Now,
clothing now.
yeah, it's we're going to we're going to enter into psychology. Psychology too is part of niching down. Now, when we were trying to rebrand as Vuba a couple of years ago, we sat down and we asked, who are our clients? And we said we're going to work for men that works in all walks of life. But then we're going to choose men who are at the age, let's say from most of our clients are going to be from 35 above. And that's because as men, if truly you've done the work at 35 and above, you should be making a reasonable amount of money. Now, we niche down to kaftans. We niche down to kaftans. We went down to colors. What colors do men like the most? And that's where we came. We have black, white, navy blue, and other colors. These are colors they love the most. And when you are doing your presentation to them, you have to present these colors. Where do they work? Are they business people? Do they like a lot of designs on their clothes, or they want them simple? So niching down has to do with how much your clients earn. Now, if you meet a client today that you're selling your product to them at 85,000 naira for a kaftan, trust me, that person has friends that can also buy that product. All you need to do is to prove to them that you are genuine, serve them, service them, and take care of their emotions.
So what you're trying to tell me now is that you see the fashion business. You've not mentioned anything about sitting on a sewing machine.
No, I've not.
Amazingly, and all we knew, most people know about tailoring is about sitting on a sewing machine.
Yes.
So we learn the craft and wonder why we are not building a big business. So from what you said Vuba doesn't sell clothes. Vuba sells confidence. I don't know if somebody got that. Vuba don't sell clothes. Vuba sells confidence. So if I want to be a confident man, let's say I want to attend an interview, right? I
Good.
want to go for a function. I want to go and receive an award. A place where I need to be confident. I need to be in a Vuba clothes. I need to be in Vuba. So you see, his Vuba is selling emotions, and I'm already connecting with it. So you see, big brands sell emotions. They sell emotions. I saw this somewhere. There was this book called I think late in the yeah, I think sometimes in the 70s. This man wrote the book. He titled it Astronomical Love. The book only sold a few hundreds. Someone else read the book, loved the content of the book, and got permission to rebrand the book and changed just he didn't change the content, just the title of the book. He changed the
Wow.
title to How to Satisfy a Woman and Keep Her Coming Back for More. And the book became a bestseller, sold millions and millions of copies. So some of you are naming your business like like the first title. If you listen to what Andrew just shared right now, you are naming your business in such a way that people cannot connect. Because your name is Joseph doesn't mean there has to be a Joseph in your brand name. You first sell emotion. So you need to first, from what I understood from what you said, you need to first figure out the emotions you want to sell before you even
Yeah.
decide on the aspect you want to niche down to, the emotions you want to sell. Then your clientele, who do you want to sell to? There's this question I don't want us to miss out on. Then I just uh, okay, no, I think I missed out. Let me see. Yeah, this question, I think I got it. Let me bring it up. They say, as a starter in the fashion industry, can one start by making everything, then later select a niche? So I want you to just address this as a starter, because I know we have a number of starters here.
As a starter, you shouldn't focus on producing everything. You should focus on producing one thing. And that thing you're producing, you should make sure that people is something that is sought after in the market. Know how to produce it well. Be the best in producing it.
Hmm.
Know how to price it well. Sell it. Generate funds. Then you go into other lines. And people will
Awesome.
buy the other lines because they have trusted the first product that you've sold to them. So now you have created a trust value in your business. One of the things that make people successful in business is trust. There's what we call brand trust. When people trust your brand, they can easily buy another of your product. Now, I don't want to call a particular brand in Nigeria. They started out producing chargers, just only chargers. And when people saw that those chargers were durable, they extended to other products too. And today, they have clippers, they have AirPod, they have smart watches, and many things I can't mention here.
Fantastic. So it's simple. You mean get very good at something, right?
Yes.
Get very good at something, put it out there, and get people to trust that brand before you can what spread out if you ever need to. I believe this answers um I think Himuna Gold. I think this answers your question. My next question will be, when it comes to pricing, right? You've touched it a little. You see, quite a number of tailors struggle with pricing, and I know it has a lot to do with mindset. You see, charging what you are truly worth. You mentioned that if you meet a particular client who you can make a close for a particular amount, and it means the person has other people in um, that ends around that figure that can patronize you. Now, but the question is this: how do you first get those kind of quality of clients, and how do you price effectively such that you are earning what you think your work is truly worth? Right. So I don't know if you can respond to that. What do you have, a pricing template or a pricing strategy that you want to share with the fashion designers that we have on the call? Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people have always asked me that question, and the answer to that question is very simple. The first thing you need to do is you need to invest in yourself. And what that means is you have to be the first beneficiary of your product for people to pay you that amount of money you want them to pay. So it therefore means you must invest in personal development, because selling premium requires that you have an abundance mindset. You can't sell premium product with the scarcity mindset. Now it has to do with the way you talk, the way you show up. Do you cut your hair? Do you take care of yourself? How you smell? You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in that product. And that's how you can tell somebody else to pay plenty money for that product. So you have to first of all be the first beneficiary. So what I'm trying to say here is, as a tailor, how many times do you sew your clothes for yourself? You are always on the machine sewing clothes for clients, and you're not dressing well, and you expect people to pay you money. Are you enjoying the product and you want other people to come and enjoy that comfort of that product? People will come after it. So you have to first of all be the first marketer of that product. Enjoy it. The way you present yourself in that product, the way you stand, the way the clothes drapes on your body, that's the way you are going to attract customers. And another important thing I have not mentioned here is there is a connection between lifestyle and pricing.
Whoa! See, before you go into this lifestyle and price, because that's a whole masterclass on it. So please let me tell you. See, if you are guilty of what Andrew just shared, a fashion designer and you don't make your own clothes, right? You don't look the parts. You want to charge, but you don't look the parts. You are always wearing worn out clothes, tattered clothes, but you want to charge premium. Go to the comments and drop I am guilty. Please continue now. Let's go to so today you are receiving your repentance. So let's go ahead.
Yes. So you have to craft a lifestyle.
Mm.
So you have to craft a lifestyle that will want people to buy your clothes, a lifestyle that will create a desire, a demand for your clothes. So you dress well and then you go to certain places, you mingle with people, and your brand can only succeed when it is social. So what I'm trying to say is your brand is about the people and not about you. Anything you do for yourself should be that you are doing it because of the people. Now, you have to use good materials for you to price it high. In today's world, consumers are very educated. They know what they want. So you can't scam your way in the area of pricing. You have to tailor the clothes well. You have to brand it. How many labels do you install on your clothes? And Zuba will have up to 6 labels. So when you add the labeling to your product, it increases the perceived value of your product. And when you are done, you have to package it well and present it in a way that when you call a particular amount of money, people will pay for it. And when it comes to premium pricing, there is a particular confidence that comes with it. You can't be selling premium and then you are begging customers when you tell somebody, okay, my kaftan is 85,000, and then even you, while calling that amount, you don't believe in it. You are saying 85,000. No, call the amount. Don't feel sorry for that amount. As a matter of fact, make them believe that you are helping them. I'm not saying you should be arrogant, but you need an element of confidence, self-belief to sell premium. When they ask for discount, sometimes you can be reasonable. You have to discount just a little. When you are selling 85,000 and then they ask for a discount, maybe you can give a discount of 5,000, but not below that, and be ready to walk away. But then, for you to have all this confidence, you need to invest in your product. Quality material, great packaging, spend time in having a tailoring production that is clean. And that's how you sell premium. You price high.
A lot of people are already receiving their deliverance already in this session. A lot of people. I can see a lot of I'm guilty, I'm guilty. Let me see how many I can bring up. When you mentioned Taylor's justice, say I'm guilty. We see Grace say I'm guilty. So, and we see YZ. YZ is saying, I've registered my brand, but I plan to change it later. So a lot of people are receiving their deliverance already. So what you're sharing, I'm just letting you know that what you're sharing is phenomenal. It's life changing for many people on this call right now. So I like us to go to probably let's go and let's talk more about making the clothes right now, making clothes right now. So how do you go about with one of the challenges many people who want to build a tailoring brand face is having skilled laborers, right? Hiring and keeping skilled laborers in their business. Now I know that you don't make all the clothes. In fact, I listened to you one of your videos. You said that sewing machine in front of you was actually the first sewing machine you started with. So it means you are not a novice in the space. You know, there are some people in the space who they are not tailors, but they hire tailors. See, they face this challenge. Even people who are tailors still face the challenge of hiring and keeping skilled laborers in their business. So how do you go about, or how have you gone about hiring and keeping skilled laborers in your business, from tailors to your non-tailoring staff? Yeah, just quickly so that somebody, let's get to help someone tonight. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The first thing you need to do is to understand human nature. As someone who has hired tailors, get to understand that you're not working with machines. The people that you're working with, they are human beings. They only work on the machine. Without them, the machine can't produce those clothes. So you have to understand human nature. And everybody you hire on your team is different because they come from different backgrounds. They have different motivations. They have different reasons why they are into tailoring. So you have to sit down with them and understand them at the personal level. And that means that you have to pay, and not just pay, you have to pay promptly. You shouldn't owe them money. And I understand as a business manager, there are a lot of things at the back end that your workers may not understand, the pains that you go through. But then you still have to be reasonable. I always tell people around me that the greatest way to win in life is being kind. You have to understand, and you have to service your people, your workers, like you service your machines. If your machines get down now, you call somebody to come and fix it. But if your worker is sewing and then a particular needle enters their hand, you don't want to take them to the hospital. You think that person will be happy, or you don't want to offer incentives. So you have to understand human nature. You have to understand man management. You must be a good listener. Sometimes you have to also delay your emotional responses. There are things that will happen at work. Do not respond to them immediately. You can wait a couple of hours or the next day so that you respond in a very good mind state.
Hmm. This is so important. You mentioned something about being a kind boss. It's one of the things that is missing in a lot of workplace is kind supervisors. And I love to say that for every time you see how every time you see how your boss treated you, it should give you a clue of how you shouldn't treat your staff when you start running your own business.
Mm.
And a lot of times we tend to um, spend a lot on the non-human resources of our business, just like you said, all the machines, right? You spend a lot to acquire machines, but the people that you have who are going to use the machines, you don't invest in them. You don't invest in them. They don't see themselves as part of the vision. You know, recently with what we're building at SoPro, I told a team member recently told me that, whoa, we have a great niche at what we're building at SoPro. No, the person said, you have a great niche. He typed it on WhatsApp. He said, you have a great niche on what you're building. And this is a team member. I quickly corrected it. I say, we have a great niche.
Mm.
And just that single statement change the whole narrative. This person now works all night for the brand. I don't have to call to say we need to get this done. I don't have to. Just that statement. And this person told me, he said, "My goodness," he said, "the way you make me feel a part as part of this project makes me want to give my life for it." If you want people to give their life for your brand, you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to sacrifice yourself. It is
And
what we
and let me
yeah.
add a little bit. Let me add a little bit. Now, a lot of people who hire tailors are not hardworking enough. You cannot be working 2 hours and then you expect your tailors to work 6 hours. You should be the hardest worker. That's one of the ways they respect you. You should do more. You should close late.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes we demand from people what we are not willing to give, right?
Good. Good.
You demand from people, but when it comes to the remuneration, you also demand the remuneration that you're not willing to give to members of staff.
Yes.
So, whatever you think is good enough for you should also be good enough for yourself. And who should be more committed in building your business if not you?
You
Who should be
know,
more committed?
at Vuba, if
Mm.
I'm not in the production space, my team knows that where I am, I'm doing something for the development of the brand. They know that I'm not out there chilling.
They know that you are not just spending the brand's money while they are
Good,
working in
good.
the
They know.
factory killing themselves.
Yes, they
You see,
know.
and for many people who are business owners now who do this, it is so painful to note that at one point when they were employees, they hated this kind of leadership, this kind of um, management coming from their supervisors. You hated that kind of lifestyle. You wanted your supervisor to be a human, to be more humane, to understand with you, to show their care and their love for you beyond just using you to work for the brand. They should be more concerned about your personal life. Sometimes go as far as asking, "How are you doing?" That alone is can go a long way. How is your family, right? And I go a long way to ask members of my staff, "How do you do? How are you feeling today?" Let's talk about some things that are non-business, some personal issues. Let them feel like, let them see you as a brother, someone as a big brother, someone they can come to. Of course, there are people who abuse relationship. We can't deny that there are people who abuse relationship, but that shouldn't change you from being a kind boss. If you want to recruit, whether you run any kind of business, a service or a product-based business, and in this case for tailors, you can't take away. We can't overemphasize the element of kindness as a boss. If you want to
Now,
keep things,
another
hmm,
important thing I want to share here is many people that hire tailors do not understand what we call situational awareness. And let me explain what that
hmm,
means in the workspace. I'm not saying we don't have crises or misunderstanding at my workplace. We do, we have it often. But what happens is anytime I have an awareness of a particular situation, I ask myself, how am I supposed to behave now? How am I supposed to act now? I also get angry. And when I get angry, I try to understand those emotional responses and then I tailor my behavior in such a way that we'll go past that. There are some certain things that will happen at my workplace if it's another place they're going to fire you. But then you can't continue firing and hiring people. You must keep your team for you to go where you want to go. So when you have a crisis at work, you understand, you diagnose it, understand how people are feeling, even your own position. Then for you to settle that, sometimes it requires that you bring your ego aside. You call your team, you sit together, you let them know that you understand these things are happening. but then it's a phase and you are going to move out of it.
Fantastic, fantastic. You've actually done justice to that. I want us to respond to a few questions. This person says, I think Ronald says, how do you sort your tailors? I believe he's trying to say maybe pay. How do you pay? Do you have like what's the structure, the payment structure, or do you have a template you want to share? What's the best way to remunerate your tailors? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a very big aspect of the business also. And that's one thing that have kept my tailors together. At Vuba, we have a brand for payment. There's a separate brand for payment. For the sake of investing in the industry, I'll give that information out. Now we have a system called Vuba Pay for tailors. So Vuba Pay is a brand that is letting every tailor that comes to work with us that there is a particular compensation that comes for your work, and there's a structure for that. So we have a template at the end of every work day. Tailors fill in the type of product they have produced for a day and that of the amount. And then at the end of the week, we total everything and then we make the payment. Promptly, not just pay, we pay promptly.
Fantastic.
And that's our duty. It's not even a responsibility, it's a duty to pay.
That's impressive. I believe you guys are getting value from this because sometimes workers work for you, you've collected pay, the money, you are giving excuses and excuses and excuses because you've burnt the money on other things, sorting other personal issues that are not even company matters. You shouldn't joke with that. In fact, there are certain office supply that can be on hold for your staff to be paid. Because these are the people who run the business. You see, it is people that run business. Businesses don't run themselves. AI is fantastic, I know, but AI can't run business. You need people to be able to use AI to run business. Machines, industrial machines, fantastic. All the branding machines, fantastic. But you need people to be able to use those tools to create a sustainable and a profitable brand. So thank you so much for that. And let's respond to this question from Ali Hamu Gold, right? As we try to, we'll soon round up. This person says, when do you know it's time to hire a skilled labor? When do you know it's time to hire a skilled labor for your brand? When do you know it's time? Do you start out immediately or there's a particular time to start hiring, whether tailors or non tailors for your brand? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you. You hire a skilled labor based on your demand forecast. Now, when you bring a product into the market and the product is selling, it's doing very well, you should know that people are going to order for that product a lot, and you should start preparing ahead of time. So you hire a skilled labor, but we all know that here in Nigeria, we can't always have skilled tailors. You hire and train.
That's a key factor. It's a key factor. Just to contribute to what you just said, right now, for those of you who are in our SoPro community, we have a template, a customized template that you can use to train and retrain skilled laborers in your business. So if you join the SoPro Telegram community, you will find that template up there, right? It's pinned up in the group. Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to contribute to what you said.
Okay, you hire and you train them. But I always tell tailors that Do not receive jobs more than your capacity.
Very important. Very
Uh,
important.
the infrastructure in Nigeria is not good for especially businesses that produce. A tailoring business needs power, needs electricity.
Hmm.
How many hours of electricity do you have in your location a day? How many sewing machines do you have?
Hmm.
How many tailors do you have that can produce shirts very well? How many tailors do you have that can produce trousers very well? So if in a week you know
Hmm.
your numbers, you know that you can produce 15. Do not
Hmm.
receive 20. You can receive 20, but you have to be transparent. Let the customer know that you can't deliver this at this time. It has to be this time, and you let them decide.
Fantastic. I think you just, by answering this question, you just address another important component in this industry. You see, if you're a small brand right now, you're growing. One of the things you can't do is you can't endeavor not to keep to your word, right? Your word is your brand promise. It's what you say you will do. You can't keep disappointing clients and hope to build a global or even a national brand. You can't keep doing that. And the secret lies in taking what you can handle. Taking what you can handle, just like you addressed. We have someone from TikTok. Let me see if I can take one question from TikTok. This person said, okay, I think we've addressed this question, so I won't want to really go back to it. The person is saying we should recap on the tailor's payment pattern. For you can go back to the live session again, you will get that. He already answered that. So let's come to, you just launched Dress for Success. You just released your new collection, right? Called Dress for Success. First of all, I love the name, the title you used. You say when you started, you said that Vuba don't sell clothes, Vuba sell confidence. So what I want to ask is this: what is the concept of collection? The collection-based thinking, is it necessary for every fashion brand, right? And what led you to start the collection-based model, right, in this industry? Yeah. So, and how does that help a brand? Somebody wants to build their brand.
Okay, like I said earlier, I said if you want to build a brand, building a brand means you have to be social. That means you have to have ideas and you have to execute those ideas in public. And in the fashion industry, one of the ways to execute your ideas in public is on the fashion runway. Earlier on, I wasn't a fan of the runway, but as soon as I understood the value of the runway, I keyed into it. And then I didn't just go to the runway like that. I went to the runway with an idea, a concept that I was selling. And I was selling success and I wasn't selling clothes. Everyone wants success. So I was trying to say, I was saying that okay, if you want to be successful, you need to dress the way you want people to address you. You need to tell people that you are a serious-minded people, a serious-minded person.
Okay, fantastic. Now, I want you to address this. Now, is that necessary for anybody who wants to scale a fashion brand? The collection-based thinking. Is it something that is a necessity in the industry, or it is solely based on your niche?
If if you want to build a brand, once in a while you have to go on the runway. It's a necessity. It's just like footballers train um, a couple of days before their matches and they go out in the social world and play to show people that this is what we are training for. So if you are producing nice clothes in your production room, once in a while you have to go out and show the people. You know, you can't separate showmanship from fashion.
Actually, that's the whole idea of fashion.
Good. You can't separate showmanship from fashion. And showmanship has to do with using the camera.
So as a tailor or as someone who wants to build a fashion brand, you must get comfortable standing before the camera. That's just what he said. You must get
Yes,
comfortable
you must.
standing
You
before the
must.
camera. You see, mm,
As a matter of fact, the fashion business and the camera business are
yes,
inseparable.
get good at taking pictures. You see, some of you make clothes, good clothes, and you are taking you spend hours to make the clothes, and you take it, the pictures of it with poor lighting, poor background, and all that. Take your clothes to a proper studio if you don't have the aesthetics for your for it. Take it to a proper studio and take good pictures. And also, you see, what something you shared about the collection-based thinking being a necessity. You must learn to show your work. In this, in local parlance, we say show working. You can't be good at what you do and not learn to show it. And you see, collection-based thinking helps you sell more, right? You see, there's something with selling in numbers. For some of you, when you want to buy something, if you go into a store and the store is scanty, all of a sudden you feel like what they have there is not good enough. You leave. So, but when you walk into a store that is full, there's this just a psychology that says everything here is the original and everything here is good. Same thing with your brand. If you are selling single, how many single do you want to sell to raise 10 million naira? You can't be selling one. You have to at one point decide to what? Collect your work, sell in at scale at some point. Whether you are doing the collection like Andrew Huber did, having displaying his work on runway, or you want to use online media, right? There are several ways you can do it. You just have to get creative about selling and promoting your brand. So as we try to come to the end of today's session, we've spent like an hour, 30 minutes, and I think I want to let our guests rest. I think let me just pick a few questions. We can't answer all the questions. There are so many of them. This one says, okay, this is not really a question, but there's one particular question I wanted to pick, right? I think it's a more personal question. You say, do you pay your tailors monthly salary or you pay based on commission per outfit? If commission per outfit, how is the commission determined? I know there are many things you may not be able to share, but probably just give a template to help a tailor out there.
Well, I basically understand the tailor's psychology. Tailors can't stay for that long without getting paid. So at Vuba, what we do is we pay four
Mhm.
times a month, even though we had an option of paying monthly. But then the tailors decided that okay, we should be paid weekly, and then we are fine with that payment
Fantastic.
system.
I love what you said. You see, who in the first place told us that payment must be after 30 days? You must get creative. Nobody
Hmm.
told us that payment can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be monthly, depending on what works for your brand and what works with your tailors, your staff, right? So I think we've addressed that. Let's look at this question then. It says, how do you handle clients that insist you do their job by yourself and will always frown at you giving out your job to your staff? I think this one is quite easy, but let me hear you talk. Yeah.
That's where you have to build a back end structure. And what that means is when you have a big space, the production space is different. Your clients don't have access to the production space. So you can receive the job, but you don't tell them that another person is going to produce that job.
Yes. So the question is that do you go to buy a Mercedes and say and ask, was this one manufactured by? Nobody does that. Do you go to buy
Yeah.
groceries and say this one was it made by? You see, it is the way you put out your brand. That's the problem. Even if you are sewing in your living room
Good.
or in your bedroom, and you have other hands, see, if you want to build this business, right? If you want to build a business, you can't build a business all by yourself. You can't build a business. You must at one point outsource and hire based on your level. So you can't keep going ahead telling your clients, you see, I'm not the one that's going to make it. It's one of it's one I'm going to give to one of my tailors. You're already shooting yourself in the leg. It is your brand. When I'm buying Vuba, I'm buying Vuba. I'm not buying Andrew. I'm buying Vuba. So if a client is getting something from you, they are getting from your brand, and you are distinct. You are different from your brand. I think that answers it. And I think we'll stop here. There's a question that someone asked. I won't answer it now, but that would help us for the next session that we're going to have. Let me see if I can get that question quickly. He talked about marketing and branding. Okay, I think right now I can't get the question, but it talks about marketing and branding. Okay, let me see. I think it's this question. Please, can you share marketing strategy for brand trying to carve a niche? Yeah, this is the question. So next week we're gonna be having a brand expert on this call by next week. You don't want to miss that session. He's going to teach everything branding, the ABC of branding, from name selection to color selection to niche selection, marketing, promotion, everything is going to share from personal to corporate brand. He's going to share everything. You don't want to miss that session. So we kind of handle that on this call right now. We'll handle that in next week's session. Now, let's get down to Sopro as we round up. Now, what do you think about what we're building at Sopro for tailors all across Africa? What does Buba think?
As a, as a matter of fact, I had already come in contact with Sopro before we connected on Facebook.
Wow.
I was charmed by the project. I love the branding and presentation and the psychological tactics that you are using against us. I love it. The waiting list before the app drops. As a matter of fact, I know that this is the next big thing that will come out of Africa. And personally, I want to put this app to the next level. I want to be one of the biggest promoters of this app because I believe in it. If I didn't believe in this app, trust me, I won't be on this webinar. So if you are a tailor here, make sure you join the waiting list. I know most of you are on the waiting list already, but then it's coming, and this is going to make our work easy. This is going to solve most of the problem we have from sorting the client delivery dates and taking measurements and all of that. So Pro is the next big thing.
Thank you so much. This is a very, very, very impressive endorsement coming from the founder of Vuba himself, Andrew Kohol. So guys, if you're not on our waiting list, go to www, find the link there, see it scrolling on the screen, www.sopro.app, right? And go join our waiting list, right? You see, when we wanted to build Sopro, I said to my team, I said, we're not just going to build another product and come to the market and try to convince tailors to use it. I said, no, we want to build a customer-centric solution. We wanted something that tailors could really be part of. They could determine what they want, right? What they wanted to build. And it's part of storytelling, like you taught today. So we wanted that it was your story we are telling, right? We wanted to help probably an maker who is sewing in his living room with his one sewing machine still appear like a big brand online. Because some of the questions people ask are people who are starting out as a one-man business and branding seems expensive. So we want to help you achieve all this at little or no cost and just from the comfort of your phones. So we want to be able to help a maker in Onisha. We want to be able to help Usman in Kanu, from the small to the medium and the big brands, help you brand properly and manage your business properly. Build the necessary structure. Let's move from just the craft, the skill, to actually the business. Thank you so much, Andrew Kohol. This session has been, somebody said, let me see what people are saying. So guys, if you got value for this session, just go to the comment, say something to Andrew. Let me see before we go. Say something to Andrew. Let me bring it up on the screen. Go to the comment and type something. This guy says this Dorcas says really loaded with life transforming information. Yes, life transforming information. And we're going to do this a lot more. I see that in almost every industry, they have meet.
It's not. He's not.
Okay, we're back. So as we try to round up, so like I said, with every industry, there is an opportunity to come build yourself, grow, network. But it seems like with the fashion industry, they've forgotten us. There is edutech, there is what do you call it now? Tech for medicine, there's agri-tech, there's fintech, but it seems there's no fashion tech, no tailor tech, nothing helping tailors really build their business. And that's just the whole idea behind what we're doing. So thank you so much. The comments are super, super great. Let me just bring up a few of what people are saying. Thanks, you brought light in this fashion stuff. So a lot of people really got value for tonight. So thank you so much, Andrew Kohol, for being a blessing to every one of us tonight. The comments are so much. If you go to the Facebook and Instagram community, you see the comments are so much. So TikTok family, right? Follow Sopro, hit the follow button, follow Sopro and follow Andrew Kohol, right? Facebook family, Instagram family. I don't know if you're on YouTube, but Facebook, Instagram, go follow Vuba Nigeria. It's Vuba NIG on Instagram and on Facebook, then Andrew Kohol on Instagram and on Facebook. Follow Sopu on all social media platforms. We are launching very, very soon. In fact, sooner than you can expect, right? And it's going to be a big, big win for all of us in this industry. Thank you so much, Andrew. I'm super, super grateful and honored to have you. Yeah.
Thank you. My
So,
pleasure.
guys, it's a good night from our end. See you next week. Don't forget, next week we're bringing a brand expert to come and share all the basics from A to Z of branding.